Hey everyone, Frankie here. Today I'm going to be reviewing my third Cantonese book. The book I'm going to be talking about today is called A Feng Shui Master, Feng Shui Sifu. This book is written by Dr. Cedric Lee. He is the head of the Cantonese division at the Chinese Language Center, which is the #1 school in the world that teaches Cantonese. It might be one of the only schools in the world that teaches Cantonese at such an advanced level. They have 6 different levels. You can take a look at the CLC website. I'll post it in the description. As far as I know, Dr. Lee only teaches the very basic levels of Cantonese, but this book is a lot more advanced than that. So anyway, A Feng Shui Master. This book was published in 2006 by Greenwood Press. Greenwood Press actually has released a lot of really good Cantonese textbooks. A Feng Shui Master, they released one that's called Wedding Bells. And a lot of the people who have published books through Greenwood Press were professors at the language center, the Chinese Language Center. So they all have lots of experience in teaching Cantonese. In fact, this book very closely follows the textbooks that the Chinese Language Center actually gives out. So I would say this is pretty much the best that you can get on the market without actually going to the the Chinese University of Hong Kong, because to actually get those books you have to be a student there and pay tuition. They don't just sell them to the general public. So yeah, this is the closest you're gonna get to those anyway. So what's so good about this book? Well, it comes with 2 CDs, and all of the CDs are personally recorded by Dr. Lee himself. It has everything side by side. It has Cantonese characters, then it has Cantonese Yale Pinyin, and then it has English. All of them literally side by side. The book is about a man who is just some young kid, and in the future he becomes a Feng Shui master, and then he sends a letter to himself back in time, and then he's reading these letters. So it's kind of interesting. I saw it and I was like, well, okay, that's that's kind of interesting, I guess, which is the point. That's why they want to keep you involved in the book. They want you to think it's interesting, so you'll learn better, learn more, learn faster. So anyway, the lessons are broken up into 3 different sections. They have the story, like I told you, with the side-by-side English, Cantonese characters, and Pinyin, and then it has a vocabulary list with the the same 3 things: English, Cantonese characters, and Pinyin, and then they have sentence patterns. There's not a real grammatical explanation for the stuff, but I guess people who are, I would say, American-born Chinese or Cantonese learners who are the intermediate or advanced level would find this book very useful. They would be able to read along with the Pinyin and then look at the characters and kind of slowly pick up how the characters are written, or at least be able to recognize the characters, through through repetition. There's also a vocabulary index in the back that has most of the words that they use, and you can take a look at that. Okay, and see there's a sentence, there's a phrase there, okay? And it has, it tells the page, the lesson that it's on. It has the part of speech in the characters, and then it also has the, well, it doesn't want to focus, but, and let me show you a part of the story. Okay, so you can see here, there's Chinese characters here, Cantonese characters, very specifically Cantonese characters, then the Cantonese Pinyin in the middle, and then the English explanation on the right. Well, it's actually a translation. And then you can see his part of a vocabulary list has the part of speech, the Chinese characters, the Pinyin, and also English translation. So, I think this book is really great. I especially like the fact that everything is side by side. So that means that people who are only want to read the characters could read it with, and then also have the pinyin on the side, the pinyin on the side, for them to find out what the meaning is, or how to pronounce the word, and then it also has the English meaning. So I would say that among all of the books I've ever seen, I would say this side by side is definitely the best. It's really well done. Even the books at the Chinese University of Hong Kong, they aren't set up like this. They have the same content, but they're not set up side by side like this. It's a much more effective way for people to learn Cantonese, in my opinion, because I personally want to learn the characters, so I'd rather just read the characters and then have no English. But then at the same time, what if I get to a character that I don't know, or that I don't know how to pronounce? Well, then that's where the pinyin comes into play. Personally, I think that pinyin is only a tool. It's just to help you learn the pronunciation of the characters in the book, or just the pronunciation of any Chinese characters. You shouldn't depend, entirely on pinyin. But I'll leave that for another story or another video. Anyway, so what are the negative things about this book? Well, it only has 9 chapters. I think it's a total of about 100 pages, including the index. So it's not really that long. It's kind of hard to find. I mean, if you don't live in Hong Kong, then I can guarantee you that no bookstores will sell this particular book. It's not popular. I don't know how widely it was printed, but it's been out since 2006. Another thing that's kind of bad about this book is the English translations are kind of horrible. This is the first book I've reviewed so far that was written by a native Cantonese speaker. The other ones were, by Hugh Baker and by Stephen Matthews, so the English is perfect. There's no grammatical mistakes whatsoever, But this book has a lot of English mistakes, but, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really take away from the book. It's just, I'm just nitpicking. But, it would have been nice if they had, had a native English speaker proofread it to make sure that, it was grammatically correct, etc. Another bad thing about this book is there's no exercises. So there's nothing for you to fill out. You just go over the book and learn, and that's it. But again, this book is intended for intermediate to advanced students. Again, I would highly recommend this book to American-born Chinese that already can speak some Cantonese, because you could get the books that I've recommended in my previous videos. Like, you can get Basic Cantonese or Complete Cantonese, a Teach Yourself Guide, but that's going to be really easy for a native Cantonese speaker. They're going to be like, well, I already know all this stuff, but they don't know the characters. This one is a bit more difficult, but then it has the side-by-side characters, English and pinyin, so they can read all 3 at once, and then they can try to build up their character recognition skills. Because in this day and age, I think writing Cantonese characters is kind of useless. You just need to understand the way that they look. You have to recognize the character, understand to be able to read it, know its meaning, and then know how to pronounce it. Once you know how to pronounce it, you can use the Yale pinyin to type the characters on the computer. You just type in the way the character sounds. Like, for example, the word for I is ngõ. You type in NGO, and then all of the characters that sound like ngõ will come up. The word goose, the word I, the word hungry, etc., etc., etc. All of those words sound like ngõ. Tou ngõ, tin ngõ, they all sound like ngõ, and then they'll all pop up, and you just choose the one that you want, and that's how you type in Chinese, or at least that's how I type in Chinese. So anyway, that's Feng Shui Master by Dr. Cedric Lee. You can buy it at the Greenwood Press. I'm going to post a link in the description. But if you're in Hong Kong, or if you're really interested in the book, I know that the Shining Bookstore has it. So take a look in the description for that address and telephone number. It's a Hong Kong telephone number, so you'll have to dial internationally. But again, it comes with 2 CDs, side-by-side translation, sentence patterns. Costs around $20 plus $8 shipping if you have it shipped to the United States. If you live in another country, I'm not sure how much the shipping is, but we'll just say around $30 total to have it shipped. So again, that's Feng Shui Master, Feng Shui Sifu by Dr. Cedric Lee. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, post them down below. I'll answer them as soon as I can. Okay, bye-bye.